Okay, so the next 35 minutes, what I'm going to, there's my challenge. What I'm going to do is talk about the flexibility of managed services, the environment that we've built, also how we've changed as a business as well, because there's a lot of different changes that we've had to go through to be able to effectively support these new wave communication environments and also managed service requirements that we're seeing in the marketplace with customers. I'll also talk through the process that we go through of reviewing where customers are at, what the benefits are of new technology, some of these development paths and routes that we could go through. So, if we're moving from a more traditional environment to an integrated or a hosted or a managed service environment, how do we go through and understand the current situation, the requirements, and that important piece of mapping the business need and benefit against the technology. So how do we do that? And then I'll also reinforce it with a couple of examples of some customers as to the benefits that they've achieved of going through this process with us. And then we're going to get to see the technology in action and have some lunch as well. So I think first thing of all is that there's been a lot of change in the marketplace from a technology standpoint, but also economically as well. There was big change, the financial meltdown and the pressures that came with that around more for less, reduced costs, try to move to a more agile environment where if we need to, we can scale things down, we can start to change the expenditure that we've got from an IT perspective. We've absolutely seen the call from business to innovate through technology and the demand back into the IT team of support everything. I think the list of supportable things keeps growing, and the challenges with elements around BYOD just keeps adding into that. There's security and compliance requirements that we all face today, plus of course, as I said, the demand for simplicity. So you get all this technology stuff, you get the environment that's changing, the skill sets that are changing, and it's all about do more for less and make it simple and deliver technology to people in a way that they can consume it that actually relates to what they do as an individual. That thing of don't give too much technology to someone because it will be confusing and it won't be intuitive to use. So, how the bloody hell do you go and do all of that? Big challenges. And I think against all of that, what it created as the technology was evolving and developing, the move to within the IT side of introduction of data centers and cloud services and these applications that people could download from the web and the consumerization of IT that I can go and get good IT as a consumer. Why can't I go and use that IT application or service in the business as well? Because I've got used to it. It works very well for me. I want to kind of do the same sort of thing in the business. So all of these things were changing. And that really, to me, paved the way for cloud and managed services. We, as a business, we took a step back and we looked at this and said, market's changing, highly competitive. It's not like 1,000 telecoms companies in the UK. So, that's a challenge. If you want to deliver value to customers and you want to form these long-standing partnerships and relationships, you've got to change how you work it. You've got to look at delivering value. You've got to understand the business more, but you've got to reinforce it with tools and services that actually empower customers and enable resilient communications infrastructure and ease of use. Right. So the cloud and managed service opportunity was born. Cloud is big. Certainly the weather, long-term weather forecast will be very cloudy for a long time. A lot more applications are being delivered through the cloud. More and more businesses are starting to look at different applications that they want to consume on a cost or a usage basis, and have that flexibility of turning things on or turning things off. Maybe trying them in certain pockets of of staff. We do it in our business within the project management team. We wanted to create an environment where we shared documentation with customers, so we went out to market, we looked at a whole load of different applications that were available, and within a week of deciding we wanted this great secure environment of sharing documentation and checking stuff in and out, we actually had a live service that we were delivering to customers. So I think that's one of the big advantages, is how quickly you can go and deploy technology, and I'll talk about how that crosses over into the communications world, and some of the experience of our customers of actually working with us and Mitel to deploy cloud-based communications and actually rapidly deploy technology and facilities for end users. So we saw a great opportunity. We're a 30-year-old business. We've got some great technology, really great people. We've got huge experience of delivering enterprise class systems and communication platforms and networking stuff, and really great middleware integration technology. So we looked at all of that and we said we've got some really good stuff in the kit bag, some great partnerships, but actually we know people want managed services, we know people want cloud, we know people want to move to a cost per user per month. They don't they want the technology to be available, but they don't necessarily want to have the challenge around supporting it, building the infrastructure, and trying to attain and gain all of these skills to do it in this new way which we're seeing. So we said, okay, we're going to go and do that. This was a decision 4 years ago. We embarked upon it, and I'll share some of the customers that we've brought into this environment over the time. And what we've seen is the adoption of this has absolutely accelerated within our business. We've got some very, very large customers that have seen the benefits from an agility and a simplicity perspective to move to these environments. And as I said, for us it's been great because it's helped to really support predictable growth and development of the business as well. But there was a lot of changes we had to go through. I'll pick up on some of those shortly. So this was the original concept we had, which was we've got lots of great stuff, and partners that we work with such as Mitel have got lots of great technology, but we've got to move it into a cloud environment. We've got to move to a point where we can deliver this technology as a service, and also elements like cost per user per month. So we went and built data center infrastructure. Today we span 3 data centers, so we had to again build a whole load of skill set into the organization. The positive is we acquired a software company back in 2000. We developed a lot of applications and technologies ourselves as well, so that learning curve, that change for us wasn't as steep as we've seen it elsewhere in the marketplace and customer environments as well. This is a big one. Managed service agreements, I'll pick up on that. And we had to change the contracts that we were delivering to market and customers. We recognised that the telecoms world, legacy world, was one of based on response times. So you've got a business critical system. In the IT world, you wouldn't get away with some of the contracts that were being written in the telecoms world. I've got a major problem with my phone system. Okay, we will respond within X number of hours. Doesn't mean say you're going to fix it. The system could be down and you've got major impact and you can't talk to customers. The contact centre's not operating, but the contracts that everyone was offering in the marketplace was based on response times. Now you look at it, is that really what IT professionals want and demand, and is that how you can then basically underpin and deliver a service into your business and into your customers? And I kind of suggest no, it's not. So we looked at it and we said, look, we're going to have to do something different. We want to, in the telecoms world, there's been talk of 5 nines reliability and availability for some time. It's one thing having it on the core infrastructure and having tick boxes that in lab conditions that you can support 5 nines availability, but if there's no teeth behind the contract, so you just focus on responding, it doesn't really mean anything. So we introduced 5 nines SLAs and performance guarantees within the contracts, and that's what we deliver to market. So we stand by that. We've got penalty clauses within the contracts. So we've built this environment so it's highly resilient and available. So that 5 nines is less than 5 minutes downtime a year. So there's our challenge, is to build this infrastructure that is available, resilient and reliable for customers, and manage the development and introduction of new technology. This is a big one, rapid deployment. I'll pick up on that with a great example from Trailfinders. The idea of predictable templates, going around meeting customers, understanding different user types, looking at what technology is right, how it's going to help, how you build it, and actually that that sort of cookie cutter approach of delivering templates that can be rolled out on a user basis. And try and grow. We've done a lot with this with customers, of actually saying, look, there's this great technology available. Yes, we've shown it to you, but actually, why not go and use it, try it, evaluate it in a particular area of the business? We think it could work here based on discussions and what we've seen. So let's use it. Let's evaluate the technology. We like it. We can start to go and roll it out. And again, that's some of the benefit you've got within a cloud environment. Centralized control of applications, easy to deploy new technology as well, and a whole load of clever stuff. Offerings Nick's talked about as an example, the CTI and the link integration and link offering that we've got as well. We're delivering Mitel as a cloud solution. We're delivering call recording as a cloud solution, PCI compliance, IVR technology. So there's this great big basket of products and services that enables us to ultimately deliver an end-to-end solution for people from a cloud infrastructure. So lots of different tech, and as I said, the change and the challenge for us was we needed to be in a position where we could help people simplify billing, invoicing, cost center coding, actually billing against a user basis or the different application streams that they were using. And again, in the telecoms world, we know it, we see it, we've spoken to a whole lot of different customers. It's really confusing, right? Do you get the level of visibility and granularity you want from the invoicing and billing? Does it make sense? Does it reconcile? Is it using terminology you understand? Have you got a full picture of what's going on? One of the audits that we did with the customer, what they found is different people in the business were ordering services over time, and they had a ton of stuff they weren't using, and they didn't actually know what it meant, and they had all these charges on a monthly basis that they were paying, and they were just signing it off because they, unfortunately, it didn't make sense. They didn't know what it was, but it was budgeted for in the cost. So it's not more than what we budgeted for, so we'll go and pay it. So for us, it's about giving people visibility, control, understanding around technology consumption. Comprehensive SLAs and monitoring. I'll share with you the monitoring tools we use, and again, really, really important. Part of what we wanted to do was give visibility, and all that's an important thing, is partnerships with customers, transparency and visibility. So we introduced a web portal for customers for logging, tracking, updating, integrating with our CRM system, see what we're doing. Goodness me, that's 10 plus years ago, and we've taken that one stage further, so we can actually report and monitor on the applications that we're delivering, the availability, the performance of those, so that customers, not just us as a managed service, customers can see what we're seeing as well. So again, we're a firm believer that we're going to go and stand by delivering a great service and actually share with you what we're doing and give you the same visibility. Flexible, resilient, world-class solutions. These models and the delivery that we've been doing over recent years has actually enabled us to, as I said, to work with some very large, to win and work with some very large organisations to deploy these models. People like BAE Systems, people like ISS, and actually we've rolled this technology out now to 19 countries worldwide, and that list continues to grow. And this is the biggie, right? Easy onboarding into these new models. We've helped a lot of people with traditional environments, and most definitely a lot with Mitel, of actually taking that software stream and moving it from distributed environments into cloud and managed service contracts and solutions as well. So using what people have already got, we definitely don't think people should have to start again. There's an investment that's been made, so how do we use it and support some of the changes that I talked about through the survey that we did, that this is where people are going. So let's work with them to provide the options and the choice to actually manage that change seamlessly without having to start all over again, without having to have a big upheaval, actually through programs that are tried, tested, underpinned with effective project management and program management. So we came up with this concept, Britannic Technologies as a service, because there's lots of as a service things out there. And where we see a real big value that we're delivering to market is the ability to aggregate different technologies and services together. The integration layer and the skills that we have, the ability with our own billing platform to bring different feeds from carriers and suppliers and actually work with customers to deliver a single framework contract, simplified billing, single SLA, and actually manage this changeover from older distributed environments and technology over to actually new technology and services as and when applicable to the business. So it's not a case of saying, you should just go over there because we kind of think it makes sense. It's a case of going in, evaluating where people are at, seeing where the opportunity is to enable and improve the business through effective use of technology, and then planning a path and a route out to go and execute. We definitely believe that customers should not have to sacrifice functionality by moving to managed services or cloud. There's a lot of different software streams out there. There was a whole load of cloud-based telephony applications and products that emerged, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And there was a lot of talk about, oh my God, this is going to change the industry, and these cloud software providers are going to take over, and all the traditional business that's out there, and these partners that we've got, people like Mitel, oh my God, it's a different way of working, and the whole thing's going to be turned on its head. I think what was forgotten was the fact that yes, the models were good from a simplicity of billing. It was good from a point of view of ease of deployment and scale up and scale down, but what was generally delivered was a very vanilla offering. So it was shrinking down the functionality that was provided to be able to support these new models, which meant that, okay, we want to work in a different way, we want to consume technology in a different way, but we're actually going to have to take a step backwards in how we work and how we operate, how we use technology and the service that we deliver to people. So we said no to that. We didn't think that was the right thing to do, and that's why we came up with our model. What underpins it is a master service contract, so an overall contract between us and our customers, defining the service interactions, the service levels, the performance, and then within there, individual schedules that could be added, removed, and again, this supports the idea of a transition approach of supporting existing environments, but then moving over to new sort of managed service cloud-based application models as well. So that's worked very well. We've used it also to help customers fund technology investment, which I'll talk through, and then convert, move away from capital expenditure into more the OPEX models of cost per user per month basis. And I think, this is an interesting one. Ian was talking earlier about the term utility services. And I think what's come through the session today is actually there's a lot of great technology out there, and what we see over time is there's new applications that are helping to change the way people are working, creating collaboration, greater efficiency and productivity. And we've started to touch through today onto some of the automated workflows and processes that can be enabled through technology as well. So again, it's about how we drive business forward through effective and appropriate use of technology, from providing a phone on a desk to starting to provide integration, to starting to provide intuitive applications that sit on the desktop that start to drive collaboration and interaction, through to actually taking calls in, looking at certain or indeed emails we heard within the multimedia contact center, and making routing decisions and connecting people together with technology to make those decisions for you. So I think that is where we're going, is working with customers to look at where they're at today, where the business needs to get to, and then just planning how we introduce different components to act as the glue to ultimately to move the business forward. And that whole contract exists to be able to support it. Moving existing on-premise solutions, software, into this type of model. We can provide buybacks on existing investment that's been made and convert it into a cost per user model. So from a traditional capex model into an opex, into a service type model. And it is absolutely about doing it at a pace that works with the customer. So we build out what are transition programs, migration programs, and each one of those will have different phases and stages through it. So what we then do is we build, in essence, like a project pack, so we can demonstrate the testing, how we'll go and execute, things like rollback, risk mitigation, business case, costing associated with it, training, implementation schedule, so that you can go and look where you're at today, where you need to get to, and actually it becomes a very predictable path to follow. An assured and managed service. It is very easy to move to these models. We've been doing it now, as I said, for 4 years. We've got a lot of experience in going in, auditing where people are at, and actually starting to shift the consumption and delivery of technology. I'll move on that one. Building blocks. So this is our cloud environment. As I said, we span 3 data centers. We're able to offer 5 nines SLAs for uptime. We've got some really great monitoring capability within the business. And again, because of our integration capabilities, we've written various plugins into the technology we provide, including offerings from people such as Mitel, so we can actually start to further enhance reporting capabilities that are available in the market against these business systems that you need to use. Start to look at working with customers around change control processes, and ultimately what spans this, the overarching delivery is service delivery management, and again, continue to invest into those areas in the business, looking at predictable reporting, SLA adherence, looking at conditions within the environment, managing change, managing development, starting to phase in the introduction of new applications and upgrades at appropriate times. So it becomes a very much more structured way of working for customers, which again, I think if you take the traditional telecoms world and you take the requirements of the IT professional, it's kind of supporting that move, I think. So this is the reporting tool that we have. So we're able to look, as I said, with these plugins at contact center, telephony, call recording, a whole range of different devices, and actually out of the back of this create alerts, thresholds, escalation processes, so we can see at a glance how well the system's performing. We can use it for health check purposes, but also we can share that control with customers as well. DR, business continuity, absolutely critical. When we're building these systems, people like Trailfinders who move from 29 individual phone systems to, a cloud platform that spans 2 data centers, the importance for them of getting it right and having a resilient platform could not be understated. We had Matthew Raymond come and talk at one of the recent exhibitions we were at about this journey that we've taken him through, and he had some major concerns about making this change, right? There's 1,000 people in the business, 29 different locations, they turn over half a billion a year, of which 90% goes through the telephone, over 5 million calls a year. And Matthew's saying, look, the concepts are great, guys, but what happens if it goes down? Yeah, I've now got one phone system as opposed to 29 phone systems. If one phone system goes down over here, I've still got 28. I can't afford to be without my telephone system infrastructure. So we worked with them to actually clearly demonstrate how we were supporting business continuity. And great comment from Matthew. We'll make the video available from the exhibition, but great comment from him, which is his concerns were unfounded and he wished he'd done it sooner. Service management. So I said the importance then of actually looking at key performance indicators. We provide support up to 24/7. We're using automated monitoring, controls, reporting, and importantly, we're actually working with customers to define the interaction, the reports, and work together. It's that joint engagement. It's about sharing where things are at and how we're supporting them and understanding those needs. So that service delivery management wrap goes along it. I've talked about our own billing platform. This is absolutely critical. One of our customers' learning tree, before we moved them over to our service, they were wasting a day every single month trying to reconcile invoices. And by moving them over, we worked with them. We looked at how the bills needed to be configured, the terminology they needed to use, the cost centers they needed to have. We then created all of that for them, and they're very happy. It's really, it's changed the environment for them and removed that wasted time. So our managed service offerings are ready, they're mature, we've been doing it for many years. We understand how to take people through this change. I think that's the big one, it is a change. There's going to be different technology that's applicable for different people at different points in time. The challenge is to understand which bits fit which requirements. We've got a lot of experience in doing that, but then it's about how do you execute, how do you go and capture the user requirements, how do you build the business case, and how do you successfully manage this change process that you go through. We don't want to be in a position where we recommend a change to the business that we think actually it sounds great, like the Trailfinders example of it all sounds brilliant, but I can't afford the risk. So we take the time to look at it, plan these things out. We involve pre-sales, we involve project management, technical resource at the front end to actually build these clear, predictable change programs for people. That just talks about some of the things and steps we go through. We invest the time to audit existing environments, understand the business requirement, and build a program of change that is broken up into manageable chunks, so you can actually start to execute, you can actually start to move forward with technology, you can start to move away from the complexity of the telecoms world and lots of different contracts all over the place from lots of different suppliers. We run workshops and pilots to evaluate the technology so that you're clear that when you make a recommendation, it's going to deliver what you're after. We've got a lot of great people, a lot of great technology, and a lot of experience in doing this as well. And a couple of examples, I've mentioned Trailfinders, ISS I mentioned, Facet, which is one hell of an interesting story. They provide business services to their customers. They run 3 science parks. They had an existing PBX. They wanted to deliver new technology to differentiate and generate new revenue with their customers, and also lock in and protect the revenue they had. We built a cloud platform for them. We managed that change from what was spanning over 100 different businesses, complex call flows, over 5,000 telephone numbers, individual business requirements, and we seamlessly managed that and moved over 100 businesses as part of a managed program for them. They're very, very happy with it, and they're looking to continue to scale, and hopefully they go and acquire more science parks and manage those, which they're looking to do. This is what Trailfinder's system looks like. So it's across 2 data centers. We've got the SIP trunking platform, we've got the reporting capabilities, we've got the CTI technology that is the glue, Mitel phone systems, call recording, contact center, and all of that connects into their network. And now it's very, very simple to go and deploy technology to the edge. So, Matthew was saying that once a network connection's in, he can have people up and running within 20 minutes. He can go and test, build, he can put numbers together, look at the call plans, he can use template approaches, so that actually it becomes really easy to deploy new technology across the organization. And these 2 halves of one system are resilient. So if there's any issues, it's all been tested so that it continues to carry on working for them, which is how we can underpin and support the 5.9 SLA guarantees. Plus, they've saved a lot of money. As a result of moving from the previous environment to the new environment, they've saved something like £250,000 a year as well. So we were able to look at where they were at, the existing environment, where the charges were, how we reworked it for them, how we enabled the business to be more rapid, deliver more personalised service, better control, greater resilience, and save a load of money. So it sounds like a no-brainer to me. I think we should just go and have lunch and talk about how we get on with it. Kent Messenger is another great example. We've talked about mobility. These guys had a distributed workforce. They moved to a fully managed service with us. They were spending 112 or 113-ish thousand a year on telecoms services and call charges. We helped them change the technology they were using. We helped them improve the contact center, the reporting, support multimedia, deliver control and access via mobile devices, support mobility requirements, and provide a framework where we were managing ads, moves and changes for them, and save them 46%. So again, that kind of seems like a no-brainer. And they said very nice things about us. Again, I think the importance is that these types of environments, the technology is the technology. There's some great stuff around. Mitel, really, really great portfolio, great offerings. You heard about how the business is evolving and changing. But the good thing is that the software stream that you've got, whether it's on-premise, whether it's on an industry standard server, in a VMware environment or in the cloud, is the same software stream. So it gives you the ability to migrate and move to these models if you see the need and benefit of doing so. Clear budgeting, improving resilience and control, simplified management, looking at reducing supply chain and complexity, delivering value back into the business, and importantly, extending the life of investments that you've already made and refreshing it with new managed service contracts, reporting, the 5.9 SLAs that I'm sure you'd probably like, the ability to achieve cost savings and easily and rapidly deploy technology to the edge. So I'm very excited about it. I think what we do is great. I love working with people such as Mitel. It's a very vibrant market, lots of great technology that can deliver some major benefit to customers and their businesses. The importance comes from taking the time to work together, review where you're at, what you need, back in the business, and build a plan that will take you forward into the future. So thank you very much for your time. I think we're going to have lunch, and I'm owed a beer possibly because I think I've actually finished on time. So thank you very much.